extra point so that you don't have a seizure.
You know, Alan's the first person to get road rage sitting in the
In the survey, 33% of people could not identify this sign. It is indeed a clearway. And the final one, let's have a look at this. Anybody know what this is? Yes.
Is that one don't take offence?
Don't take offence from the top of a barber's shop.
That is what it looks like. Anybody know what it identifies?
Is it to do with the level crossing?
It is to do with the level crossing. What do the bars below it mean?
I'm just trying to lip read the man in the audience who knows everything. His wife's having the best afternoon of her life. It has to be out of the house, is it? Yeah.
Hands up, anybody who knows what this one means?
I bet you whoever knows the next answer will have a white beard.
No stopping at the level crossing. No, is not.
You need a sign for that?
Yes.
Leave it here, shall we? It's quite lucky to be parked so close to the station, actually. Waiting.
There's a man over there. Yeah, so it is. It's counting down the distance to the level crossing. Very well done. Yeah.
the middle-aged white man round.
I know. That's
Just been
extraordinary.
also
You're living in the middle-aged white man world, Master.
So there was an issue in the 1960s. There was a lack of consistency to UK road signs, and so they set up a commission, and the graphic designers Margaret Calvert and Jock Kinnear were commissioned to come up with the standardised signs. In fact, they were all designed by Margaret Calvert. The little girl is based on herself at school. The cow is actually based on a cow she knew called Patience. And she always hated the jokes that were made about her Men at Work sign. She says, because I drew the shovel going into a mound of earth, it looks a little like a man having difficulties with a very large umbrella. I just wish I'd left the tip on it to show it was a shovel.
It'd be quite funny if that was like her burying her husband and she's like, I'm going to use this for cash. I'm going to draw it later.
The first one was based on her leading her husband.
Into his grave.
He's like, what? He's like, where are we going, darling? To see a cow.
But you know why? Because he made her a blue whale for her anniversary.
From roads in Britain to roads in Greece, describe the pose of the Colossus of Rhodes.
It's a sort of a man spread, a sort of tall... It's like a sort of power stance. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Is it not there anymore?
It isn't there anymore, that is absolutely true. So we are trying to imagine what it would have looked like.
Oh, so every answer's right.
Except the one where it's astride the harbour.
I went to Rhodes once and they made a big play of this bloke used to stand across the harbour with his legs either side of the opening. So,
Yeah.
you know, someone needs to tell them.
I know, it's a myth.
Oh, that looks sore.
That does look uncomfortable. If the statue had been built over the harbour in that way, they would have had to close the harbour for 12 years, which, you know what construction's like. We're going, oh, you're going to finish any day soon? Oh, maybe a little bit longer, get this thing.
Can't get his underwear on. We started it.
And then the statue, we do know, fell down in the earthquake of 225 BC, just 50 years after it was built. It was made of bronze sections. It had an ironstone framework. It could not have been built with its later part. It would have absolutely collapsed under its own weight. There's also a clue in its name, Colossus. So Colossus was a particular type of statue that was found in Asia Minor, which always had its legs close together.
So it's like Angel of the North.
Yeah, more like the Angel of the North, exactly right, yeah. In fact, the harbour strapping idea came from an Italian visitor called Nicola de Martini.
Ooh, Sandy.
I know, right? I do the whole thing with the Italian.
Yeah, do it, go on.
He said, this statue, the people are going to one foot on the wharf, where the Judge of St. Nicholas stands at the other end of the wharf, where the windmills are. Thank you very much. Second-hand information was 1500 years out of date. It's just it's stuck. There's that wonderful bit in Julius Caesar, why a man he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men under his huge legs, and keep about to find ourselves dishonourable graves. I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it?
All been there.
Yeah. Things you can quote and things I can quote and just totally not denying. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. Of course, as Britney Spears once sang in her hit, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
If you have a look at the modern attempt, so this is a design that they have thought many times to try and redo this.
Oh,
That's great.
if I saw that on a dating app, I'd be like, no personality, come on,
What's in the bowl? What? One pound of gas, what's in the bowl?
It just looks like something that they would build in Dubai in about 5 years time.
Look just behind his left leg, you can see there's a third strut to actually hold it in place.
Oh, that is what that was.
coming out the back.
It's got an anal rod.
Some fun she called it Uranus.
Why would that be a desirable thing for ships to go under? Like that would be, wouldn't you just be like, oh,
I think it'd be more fun if it was a bit like a thing where you'd come towards it and my legs open as you...
It's almost like a massive rope swing.
It's possible we've gone too far.
Every morning went,
I'm moving on. Britain is home to the world's oldest working model railway. It was first built in 1912, but what was the point?
Was it so a 10-year-old Rod Stewart had something to play for his birthday?
There is an astonishing railway that Rod Stewart has built. This, which looks like a proper railway station with all the buildings, this is Rod Stewart's model railway, and he has been working on it for 26 years. He's handcrafted all the buildings, and when he's on tour, there's a special box to decide where he can build his railway.
isn't it funny that someone who puts out so much sexuality can destroy it all with something so
I also, it's good for the lady there with the road sign expert to know things could be worse.
Well, I absolutely love model railways, and I have a little train that runs around skirting boards in my office, but after I saw Rod Stewart's, I realised that mine needs a little bit of work. So this is Rod's, this is mine.
That's amazing. So just go right the way around.
Yeah, around on the skirting boards. I want to get a bridge at the door.
A bridge at the door.
Yes, so the door and the bridge would go up.
You would have to have signs 20 metres before you get to the thing saying approaching, you know, no offence.
Yeah.
What about if you had a colossus with a swinging dick opening and shutting?
So let's go back to this particular railway, built in 1912.
William making a plan, design and
It's such a plan. It was in use until 1995.
Was it a training device?
It was a training device. So at the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway signalling school at Victoria Station in Manchester, they used a model railway because you do not want to practice your signalling on an actual railway.
No,
No.
when you get to the state.
Did they have a model buffet car where they can practice saying no more cheese toasties after Milton Keynes?
You know what I miss? I miss British Rail fruitcake.
What about the pre-buttered malted loaf? That's a bit of a divide. Did you have an opinion about those?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know the serene malted
It's a
loaf?
malted loaf. If you bought it, it would still be good to eat in 50 years. So model trains are still used to train. So TfL have a place called Ashfield House in Kensington, and the tube staff use
Are
model...
stupid.
In the way.
It's behind you.
How to use the platform. What am I doing wrong here?
It's a mock-up of a tube station. It's called West Ashfield. It's on the 3rd floor. Complete with tracks and signals and barriers and trains and so on. And they train 1,500 to 2,000 drivers and operational staff there every year. The very first model railway was built in 1859. It was built for the 3-year-old son of Emperor Napoleon III. Lamond reported. Should do this in French.
Oh, please do.
Take us on another journey.
Now, well, that's the railway. For the amusement of the Prince Imperial. It is a real toy, as well as a masterpiece of mechanical science. Its track is in the shape of the figurette, the wit, and the caricature of its tiny rails is reminiscent of surprising characters of the railway. Right, moving on. What's the secret to catching the invisible rail?
I'm 50. I'll take your silence as stunned. that women at 50 are invisible.
Not to men who are 54.
So I thought maybe the people were
It's true. It's true.
Have you tried popping one tit out and seeing if they can see it? You don't need to come across as loose or fast.
age, actually. They just sort of fall out and drag with it. You've got to be very careful for
Like you could pop it out under your...
Yeah, anyway, you can.
Every pop out and then you have to go, oh! Oh yeah,
Ask again.
don't work for the overhead power cables.
No, it isn't. In fact, we are being misleading with our illustration.
Oh, I think I know it. It's a bird.
It is a bird, you're absolutely right.
An invisible.
What's a bird?
Well,
Rail.
so they're small, often rather dull-looking birds, frankly, but they live on the ground. They live in marshy areas in very, very difficult to reach.
I mean, that one's dead.
places.
You know that one's dead.
No. So these are the largest of the flightless birds. So it's probably about this big.
Cousin of a chicken, perhaps, Sandy?
Chicken's definitely bigger than that.
I meant to say it's the smallest
Yeah.
of the flightless birds. To be completely honest with you, I'm still stuck on your tip coming out from under here. It's the smallest of the flightless birds, and one of the most elusive is called the invisible rail. It's so called because of its ability to hide in the long grass. There was a guy, a German biologist called Gerhard Heineck, and he's the very first person to have caught an invisible rail. He said, I'm solidly confident no European has ever seen this rail alive, and that requires such a degree of toughening and such demands on oneself as I cannot so easily attribute to others. And he wasn't exaggerating, so he went to this Indonesian island called Halmahera, and there's a terrible, dense, bug-ridden thorn wilderness, and in order to get himself ready and toughen himself up, he rolled naked in beds of nettles. So, I know, he was keen. He was very, very keen.
Just shouting, Emperor's Camper!
They
He
tell
left his pants on. Well, you don't want a nettle sting on your,
No.
your penis.
yeah.
I mean, you might as well just keep everything else on and just roll your penis in the nettle. Once you've got one on your penis, you're not going to think about any of the other. Just sting your penis and leave your clothes.
If I was there, I'd just swing one breast into the nettle.
Rails tend to live in places where human beings don't, because human beings bring dogs and rats and so on, so they tend to live in inaccessible places.
Sandy, have I missed a trick? Why did he roll in the nettles to catch the bird?
He wanted to toughen himself up.
So he wanted to toughen himself up because he was afraid of that bird.
No, it's the inhospitable terrain. I mean, it's a horrendous place because there are no human beings
Why
there.
didn't he just go to Lewisham?
Because there are no rails there.
There's the DLR.
Do you know what? I read everything to do with rails, and not once did we come up with the question, why not just go to Lewisham? The smallest one of these is the Inaccessible Island Rail. Isn't that fantastic? Which lives on an inaccessible island, hence well named. 28 miles southwest of Tristan da Cunha, middle of the South Atlantic, and you can only go for 1 week in the year.
What bit of a person is that? What are we comparing the size of this to?
I think it's a finger. I'm gonna
hope it's a finger.
So do I.
Oh, I think it's a finger.
Do you know what? In fairness, as dick pic goes, that's like metal.
With a tiny rare bird on it. To go all the way to the South Atlantic, it's only 1 week a year. Okay, I'm not doing anything for you.
All right. Yeah.
Is this for scale?
It's a giant eagle. Look at the size of it.
Now back to the railways. Tell me, who wouldn't be seen dead in first class?
Who wouldn't become dead? There's a clue in the question.
I dated a pilot for a bit, you know, an ex-Red Arrow
When
actually.
you say you dated him for a bit of what exactly?
Well, I
3 air miles?
I asked him once, I did say to him, will you,
Will you land?
a bit of a sore said, will you do the pilot's voice? Will you pretend you're landing the plane? And he said, where are we landing? He didn't enter into the spirit of things at all, and he started asking if we'd had clearance from the Channel One. But he said
What's it got to do
it
with
has nothing
railways?
to do.
Okay.
Well, I just thought you'd like that image. And then
This whole joke has been a polite for me.
he said to me that they've cupboards for if people die in the plane, they put them in a holding area because people can die in the air.
And they put them in a...
They just sort of, you know, where they might put your bags or your coat, they put cadanas that if someone
Well, they
dies
put
in
them in
midair,
overhead look.
they have a, not an overhead.
Can you imagine trying to stuff that, like,
That's impressive.
sorry, I'm just trying to get my
That's
bag
another.
to go. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my
That's
bag to
another.
go.
So you get home and you're like, oh, I picked up a dead body in my bag.
As we're talking about the railways, it's a specific railway that ran from Waterloo out to Brookwood in Surrey. Why would it do that? It's the largest cemetery in the whole of the UK. And there used to be the London Necropolis Railway. And it was in the 1850s, and it was to transport bodies out. They had a real problem with where they were going to put dead bodies.
I know, sorry.
Yes. Churchyard of St Martin in the Fields was only 200 foot square, and yet it had 60,000 people. So they really...
What? Is that the one of Trafalgar Square?
Yeah.
Is necro dead people?
Yes, it is.
I recognise that from the
That's
phrase.
it. Yes. So the trains had first, second, and third class carriages for the dead. The main cell, the first one, was that your loved dead person did not have to be anywhere near a lower class person as they left London. It was opened between 1854 and 1941, and estimated 203,000 people made that trip the one-way trip.
In coffins,
Yes, so there was a hearse carriage, and then there was a mourner's carriage.
First class.
It was a hearse carriage. Second class mourners had their own waiting room away from the third class, and then Anglicans and non-Anglicans had separate stations at the cemetery. And actors would always get off at the non-conformist stop because it was the only one that would perform funerals on a Sunday, and that's the only day that actors got the day off. And so they were buried in a special section on a Sunday. What I liked is there was a licensed bar at Brookwood Station when you arrived, and there was a large sign that said "Spirits served here."
I love that there was just a day for actors to have. That must have been the loudest day.
Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna make this about me.
Maybe I can have popcorn. May 1876, the train was delayed because its driver, John Wilkinson, collapsed and died after climbing into the canal. Not funny. It's not funny.
chuck him in the back.
Yeah. Anyway, you can still see the entrance to the Necropolis Railway. If you have a look there, it's flat now. So that is the old entrance to the London Necropolis.
They said that was at Waterloo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even in death, the second class carriage was a place where nobody wanted to be. Hey. What did Charles Rolls and Henry Royce make together?
Was it sweet, sweet love?
They did make something together.
Royce's Rolls, a famous
Yeah.
sandwich shop.
Well, they make jet engines, don't they?
Yes, they didn't actually make them together. I think the only thing they made together was money. That's it, really. So Charles Rolls is the one on the left. He was the car dealer, and Henry Royce, who is the one on the right, he is the one who made them, but they didn't make anything together whatsoever. So Royce made all sorts of domestic electrical fittings and dynamos and that kind of thing. And in 1901, he bought a French Tacoma kind of car. He thought, I could make a better car than this, and he started to make them. And Charles Rolls was a car dealer in Fulham, and he was very impressed with Royce's first car, and he agreed to take them all. And when you bought a Rolls Royce, they only provided the chassis. You got the engine, the wheels, and the chassis, and then you went to a carriage builder and got them to build the rest of the car for you.
I dated someone once.
What sort of automobile did he drive?
He drove a Rolls Royce Phantom.
And you were like, yeah, well, my last boyfriend was in the Red Arrow.
So he told me that the upholstery is made out of bull hide, not cow hide, because cows get stretch marks during pregnancy. So even the cars are sexist, not just the drivers. They can't have the cow
That's
hide.
extraordinary. In fact, they don't make any cars at all now. They stopped making cars in the mid '80s, and it's now owned by BMW. Rudyard Kipling had a Rolls-Royce Phantom, and the thing about I know, great looking car.
We still know it's you, Rudyard.
That is an arse of
It
a
does
chin.
look extraordinary. Like the baby's bottom attached to his chin. So, rather famously, Rolls-Royces never break down. They very occasionally fail to proceed. And in 1932, Rudyard Kipling had a Rolls-Royce Phantom and it failed to proceed, and he was in the south of France. And so he phoned the company's Paris office and he said, you know, you must send a mechanic. And noon the next day, he still hadn't heard anything. He was quite cross and he was going to send a complaint. He asked the hotel, and the manager replied, the gentleman from Rolls-Royce came last night. It was only a minor matter. And it turned out the mechanic had come in the middle of the night, fixed it, gone before sunrise, and didn't announce it because he didn't want to disturb Kipling's sleep.
They had a principle, didn't they, that no one would ever see a Rolls Royce at the side of the road break down.
Well, more than 60% of the cars ever made by Rolls-Royce are still roadworthy. And now I'm afraid I'll have to railroad you onto the road to ruin that we call general ignorance. Fingers on buzzers, please. You got your bell. What is the most expensive metal on Earth? Yes.
I didn't mean to do that, it just went off. The most expensive?
Yes, most expensive metal on Earth.
I don't know.
I'm going to give 5 points for absolute honesty. It's one of the noble metals. It is incredibly expensive because it is both useful and rare.
Foil.
Yes, foil is a noble metal. Rhodium is the answer. So, for example, gold at the moment costs about $50,000 a kilo. Platinum is about $27,000 a kilo. This costs $350,000.
That sounds like something that a rapper would get his teeth done
In rhodium,
for the sake of
yeah.
it.
I mean, whether you could or not, I don't know. There's hardly any of it mined in the world. It's so expensive.
What's it used in?
Catalytic converters. About 80% of all rhodium is used in catalytic converters. The amount you'd have in a car, it's the same weight as about a quarter of what a postage stamp weighs, but it adds £70 to the price of your
So rather than nicking a car, all I need to do is prise it open, go
the
through it
rhodium
and get the rhodium out.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
I had mine stolen.
What? You're...
just for the
A
road.
catalytic converter out of the car. They pull up with a power tool, you go underneath it, cut it off, and they're gone in 2 minutes.
And you're just driving along.
You're not in the car, you've parked it, you've gone about your business, and when you come back, your car's done.
I think we'll start making them into like rings for weddings and stuff like that.
Well, yes, darling, because it is in jewellery, so it's used especially as a plate for white gold. It gives that sort of reflective surface, so it is used in that. It's also used in heart pacemakers.
They get nicked all the time as well.
Yeah.
Going about your business, 20 seconds later they've nicked your pacemaker.
But it's tiny. The average ton of the Earth's crust contains about 0.001 grams of rhodium, so that's about the 30th of the weight of a grain of rice. In 2018, only about 22 tons was mined, which is the weight of a single anchor for a cruise ship. If you imagine it's used in virtually every car in the world now, you can see why the price is so high. But it's not going to be a great investment because what's going to happen about catalytic converters?
Everyone's going electric.
Everybody's going electric, so we won't need them anymore. But here's a really interesting problem with electric cars. Because they don't make much noise, pedestrians cannot hear them coming. So there is a new law that all cars have to make a significant noise. What noise do you think would be a good noise for a car to make?
Dukes of Hazzard.
I used to live near a strip joint in Hackney and used to drive around with a kind of A-board at the back and it used to make orgasm noises.
It's nice they've got a picture of the car you took your driving test in.
It is a serious problem. Jaguar made a car that made a noise like a spaceship from a science fiction film. But what happened is the car approached people from behind. They all went.
I was in a taxi in Dublin once, and when your man beat the horn, instead of like a beep, it made the sound of horses going like that. So people didn't jump out of the way; they just sort of looked straight at the car, thinking it might be a horse.
See, I love this. So what do you think would be a good sound?
An engine noise.
I imagine on some kind of engine. Yeah.
Like they put the sound of camera clicks on phones because people are stupid and they think it doesn't sound like a camera. It has to sound like a camera.
This is a serious issue because if you're going to have electric cars for police, should they have a noise? Because sometimes they want to sneak up, don't they, on a burglar? So should you be able to turn it off if it's a police car? So sometimes it can go nano, nano, and sometimes.
I don't want to win.
That's why I always thought about burglar alarms and stuff. If rather than sort of like, you know, it was just like a child's voice singing Ring a Ring of Roses or something like,
Oh,
this is
creepy.
haunted, we need to get out of here.
the elves tell me making things look or sound older or more naturalistic than they are is called skeuomorphism.
Making things sound older than
Sound older than they are. So that idea of having a sort of an old-fashioned click, or you know, when some people have on their smartphone, they have the sound of an old-fashioned telephone ringing.
It's like, you know, people do wind down the window when really on a car they should do that. Or like cleaning your teeth, like that's the way we've cleaned your teeth. But everyone's got electric toothbrushes now, but this,
That's
I don't have an electric toothbrush, but all the kids want them. They are deafening and very irritating, Larson. Now,
Deafening?
why is the car totally silent?
Yes,
The tiny little toothbrush goes, me.
That's a question for the ages. Right, moving on. These matches work thanks to a chemical reaction, which I'm sure you know involves phosphorus. But can you tell me where the phosphorus is?
Well, I presumed it's in the coloured tip at the end, but is it on the scratchy plate?
are they normal size matches or are they?
So these are safety matches, and the phosphorus is actually on the side of the box. It also has some powdered glass in this strip, and it's the friction when the match strikes.
right then.
You were right. Anybody know how you might make phosphorus, which is, of course, the really flammable bit?
2 twigs and dryness.
No, just boil urine.
Of course.
Yeah. But don't, because it'll set fire.
If you boil urine, it'll set fire.
Well, it'll boil it down to the phosphorus, and then that's how it was discovered.
From someone who had bad cystitis.
It was discovered in 1669 by a German chemist who was boiling up some urine.
Why?
But he was an alchemist, and he wanted to see what happened. What
Yeah,
happened was he
So
discovered
he was an
phosphorus.
alcoholic. And
There is a legend which I like that Swan Vesta, the famous match company, once saved thousands of pounds after a factory worker suggested that they put sandpaper only on one side of the matchbox, and that it was a suggestion scheme, and that they saved loads and loads of money by no longer putting the striking side on both.
it's like panel shows, they now put 3 women on it, just saves so much money.
I'm not going to say a word about it. How many terminals are there at Heathrow Airport?
Well, I'm going to say 5, and you're.
Alan, what do you reckon?
The 3 are on the airport. So the other 2 are further away. Is that what it is?
No, it's that there are 4. There is no Terminal 1.
There is, because there's a sign.
Yes. The sign is incorrect. Terminal 1 closed down in 2015 and all flights were diverted to Terminal 2. It was sort of sad, really, because when it opened in 1969, it was the biggest passenger terminal in the whole of Western Europe. And by the end, it was sort of tragic. There were like 5 shops and 20 planes. And they did it to expand to Terminal 2, so there is no longer a
And when
Terminal.
they were always on about building a 3rd runway, they could just get the one out of 1.
But a runway and a terminal.
Yeah, just do that. Has anybody here heard of Terminal 6 at Heathrow?
Oh, is that the one you run at, and if you're a wizard, you get through?
5.5.
Yeah. Supposedly reserved for famous people, royals, heads of state. And
Have you been in it,
I
Sandy?
have never. It is a posh lounge behind an unmarked door in Terminal 5,
Sandy,
apparently.
when you fly, do you get whisked off like,
Yeah.
not with the normal people.
You have to pay. It's £2,750 plus VAT.
Could any of us get whisked for
Anybody could get whisked, anybody at all, as long as you've got the money.
So you pay that on top of your normal ticket?
Yeah, there's no shops there at all, but you know, big brands like Dior will bring stuff to you, and what I love is you get taken to the plane by a BMW.
So you have been whisked?
I've read and salivated. Let's look at the scores. Our winner today, leaving everyone in their dust with 9 points, is Holly! In second place, well, I'm not surprised, with 3 points, because it was an excellent contribution, the audience! In third place, frankly, failing to proceed with -9, it's Alan. In fourth place with -25, Aisling.